Hello all, my name is Rahul and welcome to this session on Java language. In this video, we will try to understand the re-initialization concept and also the final keyword. So let's get started. So as a part of re-initialization, I have listed down some important points which you can see. So let's discuss each and every points one by one. So it says to update the existing variable value, we use re-initialization concept. So example is, let's say I have int value and int a equals to 10. Now what I want is I want to update the value of a from 10 to 20. So in that case, what we can do is we can go with the re-initialization concept, wherein you just have to say a equals to 20 and just say SOP, that is system.out.println, and you just have to enter the a over here and you will get 20 as an output in your console or command prompt. Second one is helps in minimizing the storage or memory of the application. What does it mean? It means if you use int as a data type in your variable declaration, what it does is, we have already discussed about the size of variables. If you have not watched this video, you can just refer lecture 7, data types in Java, to get the more information about data types, its size and the values. So you can see int has 4 bytes. It means it has 32 bits. So if you go to your program, it means it has already occupied how much memory? 32 bits of your memory. Now again, if you just say int a equals to 20, so this will give you a compile time error. Why? Because a value is already declared and you will not be able to use this value in your program. In that case, what you will have to do, you will have to either use int b equals to 20 or some other number. In that case, definitely the value of a will not get updated from 10 to 20. So in order to update the value of a, what we do is we just say a equals to 20. So the advantage of using re-initialization is it will help in minimizing the storage, because if you again use int as a data type in variable declaration, again it will consume 32 bits of your memory of your program or software. Total, how much we have already consumed? 64 bits. So in order to prevent these all things, what we do is we just go for re-initialization concept, wherein you don't have to re-initialize it. You just have to say a equals to 20 and SOP, and you will get the updated value printed in your command prompt. Since it is minimizing the storage and memory of the application, definitely it will help in improving the performance of the application or software. Now if you talk about the syntax, so you can see this is the syntax of variable declaration, data type variable name equals to value, and example is int a equals to 10. Now if you talk about the re-initialization variable syntax, then you just have to say variable name equals to value, and variable name would be the existing one. So if you want to update the value of a, then you just have to say a equals to 20, and this will get printed in your command prompt or console section. Now to understand the real-time example of this, let's go to the editor. And if you can see, I have a class over here. The class name is sample5, and this is the main method declaration, and this is the declaration for variable, and this is the real-time declaration, and you can see the variable name re-initialization declaration over here. So in order to get it, you just have to say a equals to 20. Now if you just say SOP of a, then instead of getting the 10 value, you will get the latest value as 20. So let's see this. I'll just go here and I'll just run this program, java c sample 5.java, and to interpret it, you just have to say java sample5. Now you can see the value of a is 20. We are not getting 10 as an output. But if you don't re-initialize it, and if you just save the program and go to command prompt and try to recompile the program, then instead of getting 20, you will get 10 as a value over here. Now second point is, if you say int, let's say I don't want to re-initialize the code, I will do like this, int a equals to 20. Now if you compile the code, recompile it and interpret, so you can see we are getting an error saying that a value is already exist, variable a is already defined in main method, so you will not be able to redefine the same variable or identifier name in your same program. So just to overcome on it, what we do is we use re-initialization concept. Now if you go here, so this is all about the programming. Now if you can see points to remember, so these all things, guys, I have listed down some important points which you might not aware of. For now, you can just remember these points. In coming lectures, I will be discussing about each and every points and will give you the real-time example for that. So you can see static or non-static. Since we have not seen static or non-static, so for now you can just remember this point. So this is the type of global variables. cannot be reinitialized at the class level. In order to reinitialize, we will have to use the initializers or constructor concept, which we will be seeing in coming lectures. So for now, you can just remember this point: static or non-static variables cannot be reinitialized at the class level. Example you can see over here. So this is the class, and I have not used main method declaration. So in your program, if you have not used main method declaration, still your program will compile, but interpret will not work, because interpretation you will not get anything and you will get a runtime error at that time. But here you can see this is a class, and this is you can see int a equals to 10. So if you have not used the static keyword, so in that case you can see I have used static keywords. That's why we call this as static variable. So if you have not used static keyword in front of your variable, then that variable will be called as non-static variable. Here you can see int a equals to 10, and what we are doing is we are trying to update the value of a from 10 to 11. So this is a non-static example and this is a static example. In case of static also, what we are doing is we have declared and initialized the value of b to 21, and what we are doing is we are trying to update the value of b from 21 to 23. Now if you try to compile this code, so I'll just say cls java c, this is the class name .java. Now you can see the error which we have got is identifier expected a equals to 11. It means if you are using the static or non-static variable, that cannot be reinitialized at the class level. So in order to make it reinitialize concept, we will have to use initializers or constructor. So that we will be seeing in coming lectures. So for now, please do remember these points. Static and non-static for now cannot be reinitialized at the class level. So this is all about the reinitialization concept. Now to give you more understanding on final keywords, I have again listed down some important points, and you can just refer these all points to get your final keyword concept clear. First point is final keyword is used in different contexts. What does it mean, different contexts? It means this final keyword can be used before your class declaration, before your variable declaration, as well as before the method declaration. Now to give you more understanding on it, you can see I have a sample program over here. So this you can see, right, class sample 10 final int b. This is a global variable. Why we call this as a global variable? Because this is declared outside the method but inside the class. If you declare any variable inside the method, it could be main method or any other method, that variable we call it as local variable, right? So let's understand first. So if you have a local variable which is declared and initialized inside the main method or any other method, then you will be able to compile and interpret it. So let's see this. I'll just try to run sample 10.java. Now if I just say java sample 10, then you can see we are getting output as 10. So in this case, what we have done, we have declared the variable and we have initialized this in next line. If you want, you can do like this as well. Final int b equals to 10. You can get this output printed in your command prompt or console section as well. But if you use any variable as a global variable with the final keyword, right, and if you try to print this in your command prompt, you will get an error. That would be compile time error. Let's try to print this. So I'll just try to recompile the code. So what we are getting here, we are getting an error saying that final int b, variable b is not initialized in the default constructor. This you can see, right? So let me just comment this and let me just try to recompile the code again. So you can see variable b is not initialized in the default constructor. That's why we are getting compile time error. The reason of this is we have already seen in the data type section, all the global variable have the default values. So int, you can see it has the default value as 0. So you don't have to worry about it. We will discuss each and every point. So for now, you can just understand global variable cannot be reinitialized in this section. So the same thing I have mentioned over here, class declaration. You just have to use, final keyword before your class. So this is the declaration of final class. And if you talk about methods, you just have to put final keyword before your method. This is how we declare the final keyword in different contexts. Now, the third point you can see, final is a non-access modifier applicable only for a variable or method or classes. So final keyword we always use before the variable, method or class. We don't use this anywhere else. If we talk about non-access modifier, then we will have a separate lecture to understand the difference between access specifier and non-access specifier. So please stay tuned for this. I will be uploading a separate video for this. Once a final variable has been assigned, it always contains the same value. What does it mean? So here you can see, let me just remove these all things. We don't want this all now. So I have removed it, right? Now what does it mean? It means, let's say I have a equals to 10 over here. Now what we want is, I want to update it from 10 to 20. Since it is declared as final, now if you try to compile this code, so let me compile it. So you can see, cannot assign a value to final variable a. It means if you have a final keyword attached, then you will not be able to reinitialize those variable in your program. So it always contains the same value. It means it will have the value 10 itself. You will not be able to update it. But in case of reinitialization, we have seen if you remove final, then you will be able to update it. But if you say final keyword before your variable declaration or initialization, then you will not be able to update. Now next point, what it says the final keyword in Java is used to restrict the user. So final keyword we use to restrict the user so that no one can update the value or modify the defined value or the assigned value. Now, if you don't initialize the final variable, then that variable will be called as blank variable. So let's understand this as well. So here you can see, I have a program for this. No problem. Let me write this. So if I just say final int a, so what it says here, it says if you don't initialize the final variable, then the variable will be called as blank final variable or uninitialized final variable. So in this case, what we have done, we have just declared it. We have not initialized. Initialization means what? A equals to 10, or we are assigning the value. You will have to assign the value in that particular variable identifier. So here what we are doing is, we have just declared that variable with the help of final keyword. So in that case, what it says, that it means that variable will be blank final variable. A blank final variable instance variable of a class must be definitely assigned in every constructor. Now if it is a final int a, and if you try to update the value from a equals to 20 or a equals to 10, then you will not be able to do it. So in order to make it possible, what we do is we use initializer or constructor concept that we will be seeing in coming lectures. A blank variable must be definitely assigned in. So if you have a static, so static means what? If you just say, let's say if I have this, right, this over here, and if I just say static before the variable declaration, then this variable will become static final variable. So a blank final static variable must be definitely assigned in a static initializer. So we will see that initializer concept in our coming lectures. Now if we talk about final variable identifier, then we always write in, the variable name, the variable identifier name for final keyword, we always use in this caps letter. So this is the recommended one. If you want, you can use it in small letter as well. But as per these Java convention, we always use, if you have a final keyword before your variable declaration, then we always use the capital letters to define the variable identifier name. So this is the example you can see over here. So user input, this is in capital. And if you have a long name, right? So these are all things we have already seen for variable declaration rules and all. So you cannot put space in between your variable identifier. This will give you an compile time error. So in order to combine, you can use underscore, and if you are using final as a keyword, then you will have to use the capital letters. So this is how you can use it. Now if we talk about the syntax, so this is the syntax: final data type variable name equals to value, where we just put final as a keyword before the variable declaration. This is the data type int, and this is the variable name. So variable name, you can use anything over here. Now programming, we have already seen the program, why we are getting error and all. Now the question comes, why we use final keyword in Java? What is the use of this? So you can see, if we talk about the variable, then restrict user from changing or modifying the initialized value in Java language. If you talk about methods, if we have used final before the method declaration, then to stop the method overriding, we use this final keyword. So method overriding inheritance concept, we will be seeing in coming lectures. So you don't have to worry about this all things. Inheritance is a concept. It's a OOPS concept which we will be seeing in coming lectures. So inheritance will not be possible. It means we will not be able to use extends keyword in order to inherit the properties of superclass or subclass. So again, inheritance will not be possible if you use final keyword before the class declaration. Method overriding will not be possible if you use final keyword before the method declaration. And if you have used a final keyword before the variable declaration, right? So user will not be able to modify or initialize the value. Points to remember. So these all points you will have to remember. So final method can be inherited but cannot be overridden. So these all things we will be discussing in coming lectures. So you don't have to worry about it. I will give you the proper logic. Final variables cannot be modified or changed or updated. So there's all these things we have already seen it. So in real time, if you have a final if you have your variable declared or initialized with the help of final keyword, then you will not be able to modify it or change the value of that. Constructor cannot be declared as it cannot be inherited. So these things also we will understand. So for now, you can just make a note of these all points and you can just remember final class cannot be inherited. It means if you have a class declared with final keyword, you will not be able to use the extends keyword in order to inherit the properties of any other class. Now, if we talk about the use case of final variable in Java, so the use case is very simple. If you have any universal truth values, let's say if we talk about pi, so we know the pi values are always fixed. That would be 3.14. So this value you can declare it as with the help of final keyword. And also if we talk about physics or chemistry, so we have some standard values. Those we cannot change it. That will be always fixed. So for those values, you can easily use the final keyword in order to declare and initialize. Now, if we talk about the real-time example, so real-time example would be like your PAN card or your Aadhaar card number or your passport number. So these all are like, fixed number. Once you get the passport number, then that would be your assigned number. We will not be able to update that. So let's say if I have my Aadhaar number is 2345. So definitely if you go to if you draft a request to change the Aadhaar number, so this would not be possible because this is the number which they have assigned to you as a part of Aadhaar card number. So they will even not be able to update that number. So this is the real-time example of the final variable in Java language. And yeah, so in coming lectures, we will understand these all points. So stay tuned for this. And please guys, if you like this video, please do like, comment, share and subscribe to my channel. And you can feel free to, share your feedback. So till then, stay safe, stay healthy. Bye-bye. Take care.